Hello, we are the Stop Wearing My Clothes podcast. I'm Amy.
I'm Kayla. One podcast,
two
sisters. This is episode number 68, and we will be recapping the first 4 episodes of the Ultimatum Queer Love. But before that, we talk about a Taylor Swift reputation theory, mark my words, and we react to Charity's Bachelorette promo, and there's some Bachelor in Paradise updates that you won't want to miss. Let's get into the episode. Both of our lives suck right now, so we are consuming ourselves in pop culture. And, sometimes that's what helps you. You're having a crappy week or whatever, and you turn on a Taylor Swift song, or Taylor Swift does an announcement, the Vanderpump Rules reunion, the Ultimatum changed my life forever. So that is what this episode is going to be. You are going to learn any more about our lives. I don't want to learn about our own lives at the moment, and so we are moving on. Would you agree?
Yes, 100%. Let's do it.
All right. Taylor Swift made an announcement I was not expecting. We are getting another version of Midnight's, and I'll put the chart up on the YouTube, but this is like her 6th edition, and it's really, really confusing of what's included on what one, but for you guys, you Swifties, I got you for the Till Dawn edition. The differences are when the first or the second edition came out, there was like a song where you could only get it on the Target CD. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
It hits different. So now we are able to stream it without having that specific CD. Plus, we get 2 kind of new collaborations or features. So she released Karma featuring Ice Spice.
Oh, that is my favorite song, so I gotta find that. When does it come out?
Or it's already out.
Oh, okay. I'm finding it.
Yeah, and then Snow on the Beach, but actually featuring Lana Del Rey. So she takes the second verse. And there's lots of things I have to say about this, but I'll just talk about the music first. The Lana Del Rey remix, the first edition shouldn't have been allowed. It is complete perfection, and it's what the song should have been in the beginning.
And why wasn't it?
It's very confusing. I don't know why, but she just kind of does some like in the first one. She actually this one, which it should have been.
Yeah, exactly. Totally.
Amy, it's the most perfect song ever. It takes Snow on the Beach like to another level.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, so let's go back to the announcement because this is where things got a little question mark. We did our Taylor Swift deep dive a couple episodes ago, and an update is, Matt Healy and Taylor Swift are out holding hands. Like it's a official thing since last time we talked about it.
Which is so weird, and I'm not real. I don't know how I feel about it. It's a little bit sketch.
I have a new theory.
Okay,
so interesting choice for the Karma feature, Ice Spice, who isn't a huge artist. She's up and coming. But she's also the particular artist that people are coming at Matt Healy for saying racist comments about on that podcast recently. So Taylor Swift is choosing this person who is entangled in the drama with people hating her being with Matt Healy to the song. So then I'm like, is she messing with us? Like, what's happening? So that was a big question mark. And then we've got the lyrics. This is Karma Spice's verse in Karma Spice's. Ice Spice's verse on Karma. Karma is your checks about to bounce. Karma is the fire in your house. And she about to pop up unannounced, and she's never leaving you alone. Watch her put ya ops on a throne. Okay, whatever. Got you waving pretty white flags, fiending for that cash. Think it'll save ya now that you're switching up your behavior. It's okay, baby. You ain't gotta worry. Karma never gets lazy, so I keep my head up, my bread up, and I won't let up. Promise that you'll never endeavor with none lesser. I be dragging that wagon. Karma's a beauty, winning the pageant. So the things that stick out to me are she's waving a white flag, talking about Taylor Swift, and the check's about to bounce, fire in your house, and you think this is going to save you because you're switching up your behavior. Like, am I thinking too much into this?
I don't know.
Okay, so here's...
Or
Oh, go ahead.
Okay. No, give me the grand
I've
finale.
got the grand finale of what I think is happening, and it was from a TikTok. Let me get credit really quick. It's the most genius thing, and I'm literally on the floor. If this, it makes me love her even more. It is Sophia Lopez at SCPIYUHLOPEZ. Okay. She reacts because it says people are thinking that 1989 is going to come out after Speak Now.
Okay.
So someone commented on her video and she just reacted to it. Canceled, quotes. Ring any bells? Exactly. Rep era. She is forcing her own downfall to prepare for Taylor's version after Speak Now TV, and she's coming back stronger. She is trying to cancel herself, just like she was canceled before Reputation with the Taylor Swift or with the Kim and Kanye thing. And she is doing that with the Matt Healy Ice Spice of it all. She is trying to cancel herself so that she can come back stronger for her Reputation era. I'm convinced.
Chick needs
Are you
to go
not
to therapy
convinced?
a little bit. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Now think of
If
everything
that
I
is the
just
case,
said.
that's pretty genius, or I don't know if genius is the right word, or like
Mastermind. That's her word.
something crazy maybe. But so you
Think
think
about
there's
it.
no genuine feelings for Matt Healy?
I don't know the extent of it, but I mean, I don't know if you saw, like, the Taylor Swift, fandom wrote a collective letter to Taylor Swift saying how disappointed they were in Taylor Swift for dating Matt Healy because of, like, X, Y, and Z. And
Yeah,
so then also for her to pick Ice Spice out of all the
Yeah.
people, and for that to be the lyrics of the verse.
Ice Spice, do you think that like maybe it was a misunderstanding with the Matt Healy thing? Like, has she spoken out saying I don't like Matt Healy?
No, she hasn't. Not that I know of. She hasn't spoken out. Maybe she's in on it.
Yeah, maybe it's, I don't know. And maybe another thing I have thought of, because I've seen things, the way he acts, he seems kind of weird. But maybe it's like a front that he puts on because it's like his persona, like his.
I don't know. He sucks.
I know. Why do you like him? I don't get it. I want to get it, I guess.
Because people are outraged by it, and she's trying to force her downfall. And I've never been more convinced of a Taylor Swift theory. Ever. It makes sense, because I've been struggling with Taylor, because her music means so much to me, and the Matt Healy of it all. The only other thing is there was a CD also only available on this weekend's Eras tour with another song. So I'm not able to stream it, but I was able to listen to it through TikTok. I sent it to you, and it's called You're Losing Me. And it's basically a breakup song about Joe. And it's probably her most heartbreaking song of all time. And she also references Cornelia Street, which is their love song. It's like, I hope I never lose you. I hope. And then this is about You're Losing Me. So it's like the full circle. You have to listen to it. But that is my Taylor Swift theory of the day. Let's move on.
Okay, let's get into Bachelor news. So Katie Thurston did a Ask Me Anything, and someone asked her, are you going on Bachelor in Paradise? And her response was, enough leads going already. So no Katie Thurston for us. And so me and Kayla have been thinking it's probably going to be like Clayton, Rachel. We were thinking Susie and getting more like a Clayton love triangle situation going on. But then Clayton came on to stories and said that he is not going to Paradise. And I actually think I'm disappointed.
I'm so disappointed. But at the same time, don't you think it's weird? He got on his just Instagram story randomly and said, hey guys, I'm not going to Bachelor in Paradise. And then he ends it with, but instead I'm going on my first dance lesson.
Dancing with the Stars?
I thought maybe it was a hint to that. But I mean, it's really early, even though, I mean, people are already talking about Ariana Madix being on Dancing with the Stars, but it's all pretty preliminary.
And it wouldn't be like you're already going to dance classes, because you don't.
I'm 95% believing him. I think maybe he's messing with us. I'm a little confused by that he could even do that, because they like the mystery surrounding it, right? Who's going, who isn't. So I just found the entire thing weird.
Is it already filmed?
No, they're going to film in June. So it's like contracts are being signed right now.
Yeah, who's to say? He could still
So
be it. Yeah.
I'm not fully convinced. But as of right now, who are you thinking? What leads do you see going on the beach this summer for you?
Rachel and Michelle for sure. I feel that. Well, but would Michelle? Do
I
you
think
think?
just also because Rachel and Michelle are like friends in real life and like hang out. I think it
Because I
makes
feel like
sense that duo.
Rachel and
I think
Genevieve for
Genevieve's
sure.
coming too. Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. But
What
I
would
think
another lead be?
Katie saying like I think there's enough leads. What is
Mhm.
enough? Are we like I was thinking like 3? Is it going to be more than 3? And more I am leaning towards the pilot Pete like a vibe. He's already had 3 bachelor girlfriends. Well, this
You
is a
know,
natural progression.
I think I would like that too. Just like, what are people gonna say? Like, I feel like he also has gotten such a like he was the worst bachelor ever that maybe he wants like some redemption.
I think Rachel could use a little redemption too, even just for her own self, because she like always talks about how crappy of a bachelorette she was. She wasn't that bad. She
Hmm.
did have her moments, but I think even
Hmm.
just for her own self to like go to Bachelor in Paradise and crush it, and her being able to see the work she's doing like paying
Hmm.
off and her like her evolution, I
Yeah.
really like the idea of that.
Could you see Peter and Rachel together?
That'd be wild. I don't know. They're just a different universes in
Well,
my head.
but no, but remember he's a
Wait,
pilot.
I forgot that they're both pilots.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, that will land him at least a date to try it
Yeah.
out, don't you think?
And maybe it'll be a date where they like fly planes together.
What do you think about Gabby going? Do you think she would? It's in the realm of rumors.
For some reason, I don't think so.
Same. Same. I think
But
she did Dancing with the Stars, and I kind of want Rachel to have her own moment.
okay, if Rachel's going, I hope Gabby doesn't. Even though, yeah, I love Gabby, but
Yeah,
at the
I love
same
Gabby.
time, I just don't. I want to have a Rachel moment because I do. I think I'm actually beginning to like Rachel more. Weird.
I love
Yeah.
post Bachelorette. She does this glow up and she's living her best life. And
Hmm.
I've been really enjoying watching her.
Yeah.
Speaking of Gabby and Rachel, they both went on the Almost Famous podcast with Ben Higgins and Ashley Canetti. But I think it was only Ashley on the thing because Ben hasn't commented on this story. But
Hmm.
Gabby apparently, before she was in the Bachelor universe and before Ben was married to his now wife,
Hmm.
slid into his DMs.
That's hilarious.
In an alternate universe, what do you think of Gabby and Ben as a couple?
Never.
Never.
I don't
Why?
think that would ever happen. I don't know. I think. I'm scared. I just got scared because I was gonna call her edgy, and isn't that bad? Aren't we not supposed to? Or what did that guy call her?
No, rough around the edges.
Yeah.
Oh, edgy. Oh, it's too close.
I know. So, I just think that Ben Higgins is very strong in his faith, and I'm not sure that Gabby would align in that. I don't know, but to me, they just seem like very different people.
She's a wild card, and he's very like prim and proper.
Yeah.
So I don't, but maybe he would need that in his life, like a little.
Maybe in his younger years before he settled down. I don't know.
So I think that's hilarious. I want to know more information.
Like, yeah, did he respond?
Yeah, we haven't had any of that information yet, but I just love to look at different universes of just like also. Oh my god, I didn't put this in our schedule, but did you see the Nick from Perfect Match in the Circle? His TikTok saying that he was talking to a girl, and she's like, "Oh, I enjoy talking to you, but I'm gonna go on Bachelor in Paradise." And he was like all upset about it.
Okay, and who do you think?
Christina Mandrell. All of a sudden, Nick has been posting like a bunch of stuff with Christina. So that was my one thought. I don't know. They did like a thing where, I don't know, it was like a duet type thing, kind of like what I did with his video. And she was on the drums. And then he was doing like another thing. I don't know. There was like some online flirting, I feel like I saw. I didn't like dive into that, so I'm not entirely sure.
Well, and my comment on that also was in that video of him saying it, he used an accent when he said, like, I'm going to or something. So I'm like, is there anybody that has an accent, though?
Good catch. I heard someone else talking about it, and Nick was just at a fundraiser event. I don't know if you saw, where Clayton, Susie, Hunter, and Sally were all together.
Mm-hmm.
So what if it was Hunter, Susie, or Sally? Because he was just recently seen with those Bachelor girls.
Yeah, none of
So
them have
that's
accents
also an
though.
option. They
Yeah.
do they?
No.
No, they don't. Yeah, so
Mm-mm.
I don't know.
I don't know
It
either.
should be kind of interesting to see. I mean, Christina likes her Netflix boys, if that's true, because I saw her and Dom at Stagecoach. So
Oh yeah. That could
I
have
think
been how
she's
they met.
having fun being single and talking. I mean, those Netflix boys are hot, specifically Dom.
Hmm. I think
Um,
Nick's hot actually. I'm
he
into
kind
him.
of now that I follow him on Instagram, he kind of gives me the ick, but I liked him on
Oh, okay.
TV.
I don't follow him, so I don't know.
Of one time, because Katie Thurston was in the comment section too. She's like, "Oh, I'll
Oh
make a
yeah.
call to get you on the beach, or we get you first on the beach or
Ooh.
something." So I think they've maintained a friendship. I've seen
Hmm.
them go back and forth.
Yeah.
But one time, way back when I think it was still little, because they were like, I think, a thing for a second.
Yeah.
Like right around New Year's.
Yeah.
And he said something where it's like a question box, and I answered with like, "Oh, Katie Thurston," and he sent me back a sad face.
I
And I was like, "Oh
remember
my
that.
God, Nick, I'm sorry. Sorry subject. I won't do it again." It's like that line of like the drama, but also these are real people.
Yeah, totally.
Next, it's not like necessarily news, but just made me excited. Kaitlyn, Bristowe, and Hannah Brown have an Instagram post together, and with the caption, "Hannah and Kaitlyn content will be coming in hot now that she's in Nash with me." So we knew that she moved from LA, like Santa Monica area, to Nashville now with her boyfriend, which is a big Bachelor hub. And yes, please, to the Kaitlyn and Hannah content. They are the elite. They are the two best Bachelorettes I think we've ever had. Would you agree?
100%. Yeah.
And so then now we are now that we're less than a month away from charity season, and we will be recapping it. We got her video promo now, and also like a behind the scenes, some pictures. What did you think of the promo video?
She is queen of all. I just, well, number one, they definitely put in a lot more money on hers than some other people, and she just looks beautiful.
So
Like
good.
an angel.
Morgan actually from Shared News told me something that like I didn't even think about today, that the people who maybe have like the bigger budget promos, because they do everything after it's already filmed, right? Are the ones that get engaged. And if you go back and you
Ooh.
look at the ones that kind of had crappy ones, there's either didn't end up engagement or already broken up. Like the Claire and Katie of it all. Tayshia got an amazing one. She got engaged. Hannah got an amazing one. She got engaged. Coincidence?
Yeah. That's interesting. So wait, so is oh yeah, because charity season is already over, but they're just now doing the
Yeah, that's normally how they do it.
Ooh. Very
I think
we'll have to pay attention to that
That's
now.
a hot take.
Yeah.
I'm taking credit from Morgan, but like that, I'm saying it's Morgan. But it like really, I was like, I have never thought of that before.
Yeah.
But yeah, I absolutely loved it. Actually, I don't know if it was you who told me this, but it actually reminds me of Hannah's. Very like magical. It was like basically like a magical garden she walked through. Giant red roses. She takes her place on the throne at the end. All like a red gown. Chef's kiss.
So, the ultimatum. What did you think about this season?
I absolutely loved it. We have part 1, so the first 4 episodes dropped, and it hooked me within the first 5 minutes. When it was the most unhinged moment when they were all in their original couples. They still haven't technically broken up. I don't know how serious they take that word. Well, people who watch it, just a quick premise. You start with your original couple who has an ultimatum, one wants to get married, one doesn't, and then you technically break up. You date the other couples, get a trial marriage for 2 weeks, and then you go back to your original, and then at the end you choose. So the original couples were still intact, and Vanessa is coming after Yoli's woman within the first 5 minutes. They haven't even had like their original couple moment, and I was just like, this is gonna be a good show.
Vanessa is just unhinged in general.
Great television. One thing I thought was kind of interesting is, okay, Ultimatum season 1, Nick and Vanessa were hosting, just like how Love is Blind. Why do you think they made the switcheroo, and what do you think about Joanna Garcia Swisher?
Maybe they switched because they have had so many complaints about Vanessa and Nick, but it's not like their main show, so maybe it was
This
an easy way to kick them off?
this was, I'm pretty sure, filmed a while ago.
Oh, duh.
My thinking was like, oh, like we should get it's a queer love couple. I thought they were going to get a queer host. So I think it's so funny also within the first 5 minutes they're like, "Is it true you're not queer?" And so I was like, anytime I meet someone, that's going to be my new thing. Are you sure you're not queer? And so I thought that was really funny. They switched the married couple for, you would think, to someone who matches the show better, but no, a single married, very straight woman is hosting. But I actually love the energy she was bringing. She seems like she's like very motherly and like full of love.
I
Is that
agree. I
weird to
really
say?
like her. No,
Yeah.
not at
I
all.
like her too. And then even when she like came to the tables. Oh, I'm kind of jumping around, but the table scene. And so that's like when they have to do their choice and they have to choose like from the other couples who's going to be their trial wife. So let's start with the original couples. Ray and Lexi. What are your thoughts?
I actually really like Lexi, and I have a very unsure read on Ray. I feel like it's just maybe it's her personality, like she's a little bit more reserved. So on television, she's probably even more reserved because I don't really see like she doesn't talk or say much. I don't know much about her, I feel like.
See, Lexi is the question mark for me.
Okay. I
Like,
think that she looks exactly like someone I know, and so I think maybe that's just like the
no, I
familiar
mean, lots of people love Lexi.
yeah.
But I don't know. She just like read me wrong. Like she was like when they were dating around, she was like super into Vanessa for a second, even like saying things like questioning stuff with Ray, and then
Mhm.
also having that feeling with Mal. And then she just did a switcheroo
Well, I
real
think that
quick.
made total sense though. Did you not?
Felt like Vanessa was being okay. Let's talk about Vanessa. Well, let's just jump
Okay.
whatever. So Vanessa
Yeah.
is like what would you say? Some people are calling her the Micah and Irina of the season. I feel like I'm calling her the Madeline of the season. I think that's closer from season 1
Okay.
Ultimatum.
Uh-huh.
Um, I'm gonna play devil's advocate a little bit with her because I like her. I think she was very open from the beginning. She really doesn't want to get married, and she's open with her original partner about that. And that's why
Mhm.
they're doing this, right? And so the fact that she doesn't want to get married, I think people are just going after her just with that, which I think is like
Mhm.
valid. At least she's being honest. I feel like some of those people who were given the ultimatum feel the exact same way, but are just like sugarcoating it.
I think that when Vanessa said, like, "Oh, it would be fun to just live with someone and then, like, be done with it," basically. Like, I don't have any intention of being engaged. I don't have any intention of this. And I feel like the other people are at least open to trying. That's how I felt.
Vocally.
And you don't think so?
I don't
Who are
know.
you
I
talking
just
about?
think who am I thinking of specifically? I don't think
Well,
um
Mal is the only one that I feel like legit still wants to be married. She just doesn't
same.
necessarily know who. Like doesn't know if Yoli is actually in love with Mal as much as Mal is invested in Yoli.
Yoli and Mal. Let's talk about
Okay.
them then. They're one of the original couples. Seems like their big situation is just Mal feels like Yoli just is in love with love, and she doesn't feel different than Yoli's past exes. And I mean, I think you can kind of see that when they do the couple switcheroo. Like she's like, boom, falls fast.
Mhm.
What do you think Amal and Yoli? And I think they have one of the better chances of being an original couple who gets engaged this season. What do you think?
At the beginning, I would 100% agree with you. Now, with the switcheroo, I don't know, but we'll get to that, I guess.
I don't get Yoli and or no, I don't get Mal and Lexi. I know
Me
everyone's
neither.
rooting for them, but I don't see anything past a friendship. Not just because they aren't getting it down. They don't have to get it down. But I don't know. It just seems very like, oh, we're gonna be like that. I don't, almost like trying hard. Maybe Lexi's a try hard. Maybe that's what I'm sensing with Lexi. It's just kind of for me. It seems like she's putting on a show for the good girl, and Vanessa is putting on the show for the bad girl. Does that make sense?
I could kind of see that. Yeah, for sure. Because I also think it was kind of weird because it was like Lexi and Ray, and then Lexi was like standing up for Ray, I guess, kind of trying to say, like, you shouldn't be with Vanessa. Vanessa's here for the wrong reasons, blah, de, da, de, da. But then with Mal, it was all of a sudden like, I could see a future with you. I could see forever. And it's like,
It's really
what in the
intense.
heck?
I'm
Yeah,
confused.
that caught me off guard. I'm like, holy moly, you guys. And especially like in front of everyone, that made it almost seem like they're just trying to make their
Yeah, it was a little
other
much.
people angry.
And then even like when they do the they're in San Diego, which I didn't realize. And you know how I went to San Diego for that one weekend and it was terrible? Towards the end of the 4 episodes, they split them into 2 groups.
Hmm.
And the bar that Mal and Xander were in were the only place
Hmm.
we went in San Diego.
That's funny.
Because it's connected to the Hard Rock Hotel, which I thought
Oh,
was like,
okay.
I was like, we were in San Diego for 5 minutes, only went to one place, and it happens to be from the show.
Must have been the place to be.
I guess. I guess. I thought it was interesting that Mal was like saying that Xander should have all these things he hates about Yoli. I feel like there's like a lot of resentment, a lot of things where like really a lot of things he does not like about Yoli, and she makes that like very clear.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
I thought that was a big question mark. And let's talk about Yoli and Xander since we're kind of in the mix of those. They're definitely the most like hot and
Physical.
heavy. Yeah, physical for sure. But it's like more than that. Like I sense the like
Mhm.
romance and the intimacy like emotionally. Like I think they're the only couple who are like in the trial that I like actually believe.
I agree because also I feel like they made a more natural progression. I feel like
Mhm.
they started like, yeah, they were into each other but they really like got their communication down and then they moved to the physical too. I think that was why I think it's more like real.
Yeah, and what are the odds that Xander chooses his original partner, Vanessa, as like what is it called? Like a nemesis,
Yeah.
arch nemesis with the Yoli
Yeah.
because they like hate each other from the first 5
Well,
minutes.
and the fact that Ray and Vanessa go together too. I mean, and
Oh yeah,
Lexi, the
that.
only person that Lexi really hadn't. Well, even just while she was double dating both of them, it was awkward.
Well, the thing
Like, did she?
was, like, even like Lexi and Ray's conversation, like right after Lexi's date with Vanessa that went wrong, it seems
Mhm.
like Lexi dragged Ray here, and now Ray's actually trying to do the experience, and now Lexi's like, "Oh wait, no, never mind." Which, like,
Yeah.
I get, you know,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
and so
No.
then Ray's like, "You brought me here, and I have like the only connection I have is with Vanessa. I'm sorry you aren't a
Mhm.
fan, but like I've got to see this through." So
Mhm.
I mean that's really interesting. But Vanessa really lost. Like I see parts of Vanessa where I'm not as much of a hater as everyone else. They're kind of piling on. But the main parts that make her kind of a villain is when she kept saying F off to Xander at the table in front of
No, at the
everybody.
table, she was being
She
evil.
Mhm. Yeah, for sure. And then Ray
And
still stuck
Xander
with her.
yeah, and Xander seems like a really sweet person.
He's so sweet. I know. I
Yeah.
really like them. What really was a turn for Xander was when they were on the date with Yoli, and then all of a sudden, like, you hear that thunder? Like, there's something very sensual about like a storm. He's like, oh yeah, I know. Like, you might have to pace me because I'll make some moves. And like, what's your move? And then she touches the arm leg. She's
I
like,
know they were doing, like, little sex
oh, they were like having some foreplay out in the middle of the day at lunch on a lunch day, and I was like, oh dang. And I think it's so funny they keep coming back to. I don't know if you've heard like the stereotype of like lesbians like moving in together within like a couple days and like playing house. I think it's funny that they're like literally this experiment is almost made for that like stereotype,
Yeah.
you know, and, like leading in on that. So
Well, and
let's
my other question
yeah.
is, do all lesbians sleep naked? I wanna do a poll of this because
I sleep naked a lot. I'm not a
okay, so maybe
lesbian,
it's just a
but
girl thing.
I think that a variety of people do different things. Do you sleep fully clothed?
So, no, I sleep in my underwear for sure, and most of the time well, it's different because I'm a mom and I'm breastfeeding, so I gotta keep these puppies loaded down.
Oh, gotcha.
I wear a bra, but
You wear a
but
bra?
You have to when you're breastfeeding, I feel
Okay, you
like.
can't wear just like a big t-shirt to cover them?
Well, you can, but that's mom tells me that that's how you make your boobs not get saggy when you're old,
Oh,
is
gotcha.
because when you're breastfeeding, they're so much bigger and heavier, it can make them, like,
I haven't worn a bra in
slouch.
months.
That's fine.
But I have
More power to you.
noticed I put on a shirt the other day that, like, some shirts have, like, the stitching of, like, the placements where the boobs should go,
And yours
and
aren't
mine
there.
are, like, right in the middle of it where the lines go, and they used to be above the line, but now they're so maybe I need to switch tactics, but I digress. All right, Tiff and Mildred.
Tiff and Mildred, they are an
OG
atomic bomb.
couple. Yes,
That's how I
very
feel about it.
passionate, whether it's like good ways or bad ways. They had a full on porno within the first 10 minutes of the show. I wasn't
I
expecting
know.
that.
Do they always do
I
that?
don't
Because I was a
remember
little
them.
uncomfortable,
I
to
don't
be
remember
honest.
them doing that on the Ultimatum or Love is Blind. But I
Yeah.
think that's
I was like,
it's,
that's a little much for me.
yeah, I think it's because it's such a big part of their relationship is sex. And so
I guess.
they
Yeah.
wanted to, like, see, we weren't kidding. They probably fought to have this on camera.
Gonna watch it later.
Yeah, so I'd have to say Mildred. Neither of them
I
are my
thought I
cup of
liked.
tea.
I agree 100%. I thought I maybe liked Mildred more in the beginning, or I at least maybe saw her point more. Or I don't know. I don't know what it was. I just was okay with her. But now with Mildred and Ozzy, I am not
I
a
don't like
Mildred.
because Aussie really sneaks up on you. By the time that you get to the choice, you like fall in love with Aussie. I absolutely like they're just the cutest thing, and I just want to like pinch their cheeks. Do you
Yeah,
not feel
I
the
don't
same
know if
way? I really love
yes, but
Aussie.
then I also am trying to figure out Aussie, like, with Mildred. I'm like, okay, I guess maybe Aussie is kind of playing the, not playing, but, like, is just more of the, um,
Passive aggressive,
well,
non-confrontational.
non-confrontational, but also just, like, doesn't really do stuff. They like to be mothered.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
With Sam had to wake Aussie up every morning. Like, Aussie didn't, like, do things on their own. So
Yeah.
I feel like that is not what Mildred wanted. And I think maybe Aussie kind of led Mildred astray, saying, oh, I cook, I do these things. And I don't think Aussie does at all.
Yeah, no, I think I
Yeah.
agree with you
So
completely.
that
I
made me
liked
kind of feel
Aussie
like that's not fair.
before the trial marriage, and
Yeah.
then they kind of went downhill again. Let's talk about Tiff has got a temper. I hated the way she yelled at Sam. That was like because Sam's just like a little teddy bear. She just is love and light and so patient. But it seemed like they really got through that afterwards. And Tiff might be like learning and like getting something from the process, and they're both like, and then probably Sam's like, oh, maybe I do have it pretty good with Aussie because Tiff.
That's true.
Tiff and the dog. Let's talk about that because
Yeah, that's like,
it's intense.
I don't feel like Sam's even saying she doesn't like the dog. It's
I
basically
did in the beginning. Like she's like, oh, I'm so excited to have a dog in the house, blah blah.
well, and I guess Sam's just not, like, giving it enough love.
I don't know, because we haven't seen any video evidence of Sam mistreating the dog or snubbing the dog of any kind. Like, I'm all for it. Like, I don't have kids, like human kids. My pets are my kids. And I love the cats. But at the same time, like, she like, just went
To another level a little bit.
other level. So that's kind of interesting. I mean, definitely not a love match.
No, because they're not even sleeping in the same bed together, it doesn't sound like. So they're not even, like, that comfortable with each other.
Yeah, and one thing I want to go back to Aussie before we go too far. Aussie also said that they cook, that you said, and then they don't really do that. And Aussie also tells Mildred that they're ready to get married now. And then as soon as they see the friend, it's like, never mind. So I mean, were they just trying to like get Mildred's attention? Yeah, exactly. So that is also another big question mark. Mildred and Aussie are a disaster.
And it was so awkward at the bar thing when Mildred was literally railing Sam about, well, Aussie this, I'm not going to go easy on them. I'm not going to this and this and this. And Sam's just like trying to kind of like talk, but like, Mildred, you shouldn't even be having this conversation with Sam. Like, it's not her job to tell you how to be with her person.
Yeah, I'm not a big Mildred fan. See, I almost feel
Mm-mm.
like I like Vanessa more than Mildred.
Nessa is a little bit more like for this show, I understand why she's a villain, but she's a likable person.
I agree.
Mildred kind of isn't.
Very
She isn't being very
likable. Yeah,
nice.
I wouldn't
Yeah.
consider her very likable.
Well, and Vanessa was definitely not likable at the table, but she's been more likable at
She
different
has her
moments.
moments and then she has her really bad ones too. But I don't think
Mhm.
it's as black and white as people are putting it on her.
What was the comment that Vanessa made to Lexi saying that Xander would be asexual
That was
if it wasn't
confusing.
because that's also I think what made Lexi really mad because it was like, well, why is Xander here then if Xander's not even going to put a real effort into like actually being attracted to someone else?
Yeah, I think a good way that she put it also is like, but you aren't risking anything. You
Yeah.
know, because you aren't like Vanessa isn't afraid of losing Xander because she's talked about being asexual and she's not worried about her because she has no intentions of marrying. So that was like I think the big disconnect for Lexi. Then we see Xander at his date with lunch date with Yoli getting turned on by the thunder. So I mean, right there, kind of like the
Yeah,
math ain't
that
mathin'. But which
mhm.
I think was kind of interesting. And it like as soon as Vanessa realized she might lose Xander, that's when I think she's on a spiral during that like table area because I think she really thought
Oh
there
yeah.
was no chance in hell. And then whoa, all of a
Mhm.
sudden Xander and Yoli are probably the most legit like swapped couple there is, you know, and I think she's
Mhm.
terrified. And
Yeah.
previews coming up, I think she's gonna do everything in her power to reel Xander back in.
Yeah, which I actually think is kind of messed up because I don't think that she's ever going to give Xander what Xander wants.
Yeah, it's almost like
And
loving the
that's not
person
fair.
enough to let them go, kind of thing.
Yeah, and she's not and she doesn't have that character in her, I don't think, because she's literally said like in so many interviews like I never want to get married. I don't ever want to miss out. I don't ever like I don't plan on doing that ever. And I feel like she's and in that sense I feel like she's kind of messing with the process because well, oh, okay, actually, sorry, I'm jumping,
Do
but
it.
okay, let's talk about the conversation between Lexi and Vanessa at the bar.
Okay, yeah, and then we have to kind of also talk about what led up to
So
that.
yeah, let's yeah. So you tell of what led up to that.
All right. Well, okay, here's the thing that so they have a Vanessa and Ray have a fun beach day. It looks like Ray is kind of dropping some of her walls and they get to the bedroom and some stuff goes down. And Ray decides to text Lexi about it immediately, which is like weird because like I feel like even Mal said at the bar, it's like I would not have told Yoli if something had happened like that. Like kind of
Mhm.
so I mean I
Because it's separate. They're supposed to be broken up,
yeah.
and that's what they signed up for a lot. But maybe Lexi and Ray had had a private conversation. Like that's not because Lexi said to Mal, I'm just slow to want to do that type of thing. And
Yeah,
I
maybe
think
it
that
was
might have been more for
unspoken.
protection of Ray.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
then they get to the dinner and Lexi reads Vanessa for filth.
Yeah, that was so bad. It was so
I think it's fun to watch Aussie during it and like watch it again. And she's just like you can tell
bad.
confrontation. He just wants to. They would just want to try to make everything better. But yeah,
Yeah.
and one thing that really got me is when Ray and Vanessa were in bed before the sexual incident happened. Vanessa's
Mhm.
like saying that she likes Ray. And then at the
Mhm.
table, when Lexi's going in on her, she's like, she doesn't actually she likes her only as a friend and not romantically or sexually. And so
Mhm.
that's the part I'm also not down with. If she was open about it with Ray, then I'm cool. And the Ray's just, doing whatever,
Yeah.
living her best life, whatever.
Mhm.
But it just seems like she's creating chaos to create chaos with no thought of other hurting other people.
And I think that that's exactly what Lexi has been trying to
Yeah.
say.
Yeah.
I think that
Fair.
that is her proving the point.
Yeah.
Like Lexi knows Ray, and maybe Ray does have a softer heart, or she like is easy to prey upon or
Yeah.
something. I'm not saying Vanessa's a predator, but you
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
what I
Yeah.
mean. Um, And yeah, totally. When Vanessa lost me when she basically said, like, "No, I have no
I was a little
sexual
shooketh.
you don't have any sexual attraction to her, but you just fingered her? What the crap?"
Yeah, no,
That's just
it
icky.
surprised me. It definitely surprised
Well,
me.
and then Vanessa puts it all on Ray and is just like, "Well, she put
Yeah, so that'll be
her hand down there."
interesting
I'm
to
like, "Ray
see.
is gonna feel embarrassed."
Yeah, no,
Ugh, I didn't like
I
it.
really feel for Ray in that scenario. And Lexi was just trying to
Mhm.
protect her, and so yeah, Lexi is right. I don't know. There is still something about Lexi that turns me off, but 100% like Vanessa was in the wrong in that whole scenario.
Yeah.
Um,
But I feel like if you're in a lesbian relationship and you have to adopt kids or whatever, that you want, I guess you don't have to, but that you want that family core. So it would be like, those are your kids. But to think that Vanessa said that my kids would be my kids and your kids would be your kids, that just kind of, I thought I didn't like that. To
yeah.
me, I just did think for the kids, that's just like, I
I
don't know,
also
I
found
didn't
it
like
super
that.
educational because, like, I didn't really necessarily think about all the different options and hoops you potentially have to go through in like a same sex couple, and specifically lesbian
Mhm.
couple, because they could both carry the child, but try to figuring out and
Mhm.
who's like the sperm donor. And I thought it was really like cool of them to just like openly discuss it and like kind of just learning more about queer culture. And since it's also in such like a mainstream of like Netflix, I'm
Mhm.
hoping that it representation even if it's just little bits at a time is going to help the world, but I do feel like
Yeah.
it's interesting it hasn't gone to the top like I have like past season like a Love is Blind. It's in the top 10 on Netflix, but it's not all the way up. And I think it is like I was even following the Bachelorette, who's amazing by the way. She does Bachelor originally, and now she's does Vanderpump Rules and Love is Blind, Ultimatum, on stuff like that. And she was having people unfollow her because she was covering the Ultimatum, like Queer Love.
Oh,
And it's just like,
interesting.
I loved how she did. She was like, okay, bye. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we don't want you anyway. So I just think it's like
Yeah.
really cool, the conversations. And even like, I'm open to that. I have like queer friends and everything, but like, I think definitely being able to watch that and the dynamics of it, I think was just really educational and kind of a look into like the queer world that like isn't in our everyday headspace. You know what I mean? That we don't think about.
Yeah. I almost wish that Lexi and Mal were actually like more legit because I actually think I like them together a
I've
lot.
gotten
If they
DMs about
could,
it. So I think that's a common like thought.
I think Lexi really is in it because she wants Ray to change her
Yeah.
mind.
No. Oh, I just think it's really interesting also looking into the queer culture of someone who's not really in it, is like the kind of feminine mask and how they like talk about that in short term. And
Hmm.
especially like when they first started dating and it was like Mal and Tiff. And like you're the most masculine person I've ever been on a date with, and kind of seeing those different like
Yeah.
dynamics, I also thought was super interesting.
Hmm.
Um, so
Hmm.
that was a sidebar. And let's talk predictions. Now, I definitely think if you watch the Ultimatum season 1, there was 0 new couplings that made it. We have 2 like original
Hmm.
couples who made it. Like I think they did kind of a fake out with Jake and the girl Jake and Ray from Ultimatum season
Hmm.
1, but it like they just basically
Lasted
pretended, and they
2 seconds.
walked off into
Yeah.
the sunset and they never saw each other again. So I do think there's some
Hmm.
phase, even if we get invested in these new couples, I definitely think like years of relationship ahead, always, even though we're just seeing, little bits of both,
Hmm.
definitely holds some weight. So I would like, what do you think anyone's going to get engaged? Do you think anyone's going to break up? Do you think there's going to be a real switcheroo this season?
I feel very conflicted on almost every single couple. It's so hard. I don't have any like clear views, but I think it's possible for Lexi and Ray to end up together because the fact that Ray had such an emotional reaction to what she did makes me think that, and like was so scared to lose her, it makes me think
Yeah,
maybe that could go
I
in that
have to agree
direction.
with you. I think Mal and
Mal and
Yoli.
Yo
I do.
See, I think so. I think so, but it's going to be very telling of how they're like when they get back together on how Yoli feels. Well, actually, how Mal feels about how sexual she was with Xander. Maybe she doesn't. Maybe they don't
Yeah, I
care.
mean, it
I
seemed
don't
like
know.
some of them have like we even saw conversations like you do what you have to do, I'll do what I have to do. So I don't.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe Mal won't be mad. I mean, just her and just kind of bummed Jen just because not that Yoli
Yeah.
did anything wrong, but just it just sucks.
Mhm.
And I
Well, especially if they have to watch it back.
yeah,
Because that's
for sure.
pretty
And I
intense.
think Xander and Vanessa, I think Vanessa's gonna try, but what I want is I want Xander to leave single and find someone else. And Vanessa
Mhm.
to do the same thing. And I think they're best apart. And especially since they've been together since high school, I think that's like something to say as well.
Well, is that her first, like, relationship like that?
Yeah.
Because I
So
know that
Vanessa, I think she had like a girlfriend for a month in college.
Uh-huh.
Xander,
Uh-huh.
I'm not entirely sure, but probably not a whole lot since they were young and they both met when they had boyfriends in high school. And now the boyfriend
Yeah, so it
like
kinda seemed
blocks Xander now.
yeah. I feel like they are, like, really, really genuinely bonded as humans, and it's really hard to break away from a relationship
Yeah,
like that, but I think that it's very necessary because I personally believe that Xander will never get what
I
she
agree.
wants from Vanessa ever.
One,
And if they try to, I think Vanessa will mess up
I agree.
and hurt Xander
Yeah,
even
so
more.
I think she needs to nip it in the butt. And even if it's not with Yoli, it
Mhm.
does show. Maybe this was meant to show Xander that he can connect with other people. Because
Mhm.
out of like what, 7 people, 1 out of 7 person for you to connect with like that, I think is fairly rare. Like it wasn't a big pool.
Yeah.
So like if he goes
Mhm.
out into the world, I really think that Xander can find that. One thing I did want to say, because it just made me laugh, is Tiff and Mildred and how they met. And Tiff just went on
Oh, yeah.
Instagram and looked up hashtag lesbian Latina. And I've got a question for you. If you were to try to go on
Uh-huh.
Instagram to find your man, not even necessarily the one you have now, but just in general, if you were single, what hashtag would you use to find them?
Hot
Ooh,
nerd.
I like it. Could you imagine like what type of guy also posts like a picture of him is like hashtag hot nerd?
I know, that's why it's a little
It actually
concerning, though.
matches because Jared is a little cringe sometimes, so that's a cringy thing to do.
That's true. Oh my gosh, we were just talking. This is not really related, but let's just talk Instagram for a minute. When Jared and I were broken up, he went down a path of weird destruction, and he got a motorcycle.
He got a
And
How do I
he
not know
literally,
this? He got a
oh, I don't know,
motorcycle?
he had like a really fast
Oh.
motorcycle, and he loved that thing. He painted all the little, meticulously changed the wheels. He was like, it was his girlfriend, and he took a
Oh,
picture
no.
of him with his head down, leaning against the motorcycle, and said, "There's nothing like the bond between a man and a machine." I could literally picture, and it was like he was in a tank top, so he had like
Like
his
a wife
muscles out,
beater?
and I'm just like, yeah, that was like the thirst trap like no other. But then also it
Oh
was
my
like,
god. But think about
but it sounds like you're more
I
sexually
know.
attracted to
What
motorcycles
type of
than
women will
women.
that attract, honestly?
Anyways, I will say though, out of any new couple that I can imagine making it, the only one I see possible is Yoli and
Sure,
Xander.
but I just don't think it's gonna happen, and I think it's gonna
I don't either, but
I'm guessing the same stats as season 1. Not necessarily with
okay.
pregnancies and stuff, but 2
Yeah.
of the original couples will stay together, and then no one else. What do we think? Maybe 3 this time? No, 2. I'm gonna stick with it. Are
All
done
right.
though. So time will tell.
Mm-hmm. So we will have new episodes every week.
And we are changing it up, doing things a little bit differently, and we'll have our full episode every week. Right now, it's Fridays where we do reality TV news, some type of opening segment, whether it's our live for some pop culture, Taylor Swift, probably like today's. And also, right now, we're the main show that we're covering is the Ultimatum. So the Ultimatum recaps will live in these full episodes once a week. But instead of like throwing all the other shows we watch into one episode, we are just going to drop new episodes as we watch things. So this week we did drop a Selling Sunset season 6 recap and a Vanderpump Rules reunion part 1 recap on our YouTube.
Be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, and hit the bell notification on YouTube, as well as rate and review on Apple Podcasts or anywhere you listen to podcasts.
And then follow us on social media at Stop Wearing My Clothes Pod on Instagram and TikTok, and at Stop Wearing My on Twitter.
Email us at stopwearingmyclothespodcast@gmail.com or leave us a voice message with any hot takes or questions.
The link is below. And until next time.